I'm already recording. Hip hop, hooray. Hi, Keep Singing members and members of other programs who are part of this group. Glad you're here. Welcome, welcome. I'm Dr. Natalie Eastman. I'm assuming you know who I am, but you never know. You could have shown up, been like, I don't know, I signed up for this program and here I am. And I don't know who this lady is. Okay, Natalie Eastman. I am the owner of A Higher Note and the teacher, leader, vocal coach, singing instructor, etc., of Keep Singing program and instructor of private lessons, soprano, yada, mom, Christian, nutcase, most of the time. Welcome to our nutty world. All right, let's go. Okay, so today is the 4th. Can you believe it? It is the 4th Tuesday in April. I should check that. I should make sure that I prepared today based on that. Let me just make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, good. Okay. Next week is the 5th Tuesday. We do not have a group session. What do you do on the 5th Tuesday? Pop quiz, but there's nobody here to hear it. Pop quiz. What do you do on the 5th Tuesday if there's a 5th Tuesday? Organize your singing notebook. Start your singing notebook. Do a benchmarking video of yourself singing, a little performance. Go in and do some of the check-ins, pick 1 or 2, journal in your, when I say go in, I mean go into your members area, sign in, log in, and do a check-in. You should be getting a weekly email on Fridays that reminds you to do a check-in to kind of keep you thinking about your vocal development. Remember, I care about you. I'm glad you're in this program, but there ain't nobody on this earth who's going to care about your voice and your vocal development more than you will, except maybe your mother. My mother passed away this spring, but she probably cared about my vocal development more than I did as a teen, for sure. I took over that in my 20s, took over the carrying and the taking care of it and everything, but she was certainly the one who, I was a teenager. I didn't want to hear it from mom. But mom used to sing on the radio. Mom had a voice. Dad had a voice. Dad, I always say I learned my harmony from dad and my lyrical melodic singing from mom. And mom saw and heard my potential. And she was, honey, how about this? How about that? And I was already doing lots and lots of vocal things. But, moms, when you're a teenager, for most teenagers, I'm not saying for all, I won't even say most. Okay, I'll just speak for myself. I have listened to my mother's advice and probably would have done a lot better for myself if I had listened sooner. Hey, I can't look back and worry about it now, right? So, all right. But today, no one has sent me something that's in your way lately. So I picked something that is hitting a lot of people, and that is a gravelly voice. And there's lots of reasons why this can come up. We're going to just touch on a few of these, and maybe something will help you. Okay, we've been talking in this unit about breath support and respiratory process, vocal production, stuff like that. But this is something that gets people, frustrates singers to no end. And I just realized I forgot one of my visual aids. So I'm going to pause. Okay, I've got everything now. So let's jump in. Gravelly voice can be caused by a number of things. It's all, of course, what is impacted is your larynx and your laryngeal function. Your larynx I'm not going to go into 3 functions of the larynx. I've gone into that in other lessons. Um, but your larynx has the vocal folds oscillating when you're speaking. And when they are not clear for whatever reason, um, there could be a bunch of things that could happen. Let me just name some, and I'm going to address a few of them. I can't address all of them because some of them are medical. Sometimes a gravelly voice let's talk about the ones I can't address today. But these are probably not your problem, okay? Of a nodule or cyst or something on your vocal folds or some other type of physical impairment that has developed as a result of misuse, overuse, abuse, etc., of your vocal folds. That can happen from your working environment, having to yell over loud machinery constantly. It's not really from stuff that you inhale. That we'll get into that. Just having to overuse or misuse or abuse your vocal cords. It can come from, cheerleading if you are not supporting well. It can come from over singing with bad technique, using too much air consistently over time. So then there is also various dysphonias, different things that cause your voice to spasm. There's spasmodic dysphonia. There's type of dysphonia just means like you're not phonating right. It's not phonating right, and it won't phonate right. Phonation is just the production of sound. So those are things you need to go see an ENT, an ear, nose, throat doctor, and otolaryngologist. You might even want to go the extra mile and go see a laryngologist. I've talked about this before in other lessons, so I won't go deeply into it now, but laryngology is a subspecialty of otolaryngology. So if you are a person who depends on your voice for your living or for your passion, whatever it is, that's a big part of your life, you kind of want to not mess around with it. I mean, going to an ENT is fantastic. I have an ENT in my team, right? On my team, so to speak, care team. But you might want to go straight to a laryngologist in a voice center if there's one near you. The closest one to us is 2 hours away. Last fall, I went to one. I drove the 4-hour round trip and did it. And it was well worth it to know that actually I was quite healthy. And my doctor actually said, you must have great technique because everything is crystal clear and there's nothing physically that accounts for your laryngitis. All right. So I was afraid. I was like, what is going on? Because I have no history that is exactly like this. Lots of history of laryngitis, but that I've covered that elsewhere. That was from all the, so we'll talk about it. Okay. But not too much because I've covered it elsewhere. Today we're just going to kind of go through a bunch of things that could be and how to try to help clear up your voice. All right. So if you're having problems and you can't identify what the issue is, you're having either super gravelly voice, you can't get rid of it, you probably want to go to a voice center or an ENT that also has speech therapy in their practice. Most of them do. These days, they try to be kind of holistic in their approach. So go see somebody and get it looked at, and that'll make you feel better too. Okay. One other thing that can cause those issues with the nodules and stuff is always talking at the same, and maybe even talking really hard, always the same, and not really varying your voice very much, like I just did, and kind of rubbing. That is, I am putting the edges, I'm banging the edges of my vocal folds together instead of just letting them. I'm over closing them and causing them to be abrasive to one another. So that would be a speech therapy thing. I mean, we can work on that in voice lessons and stuff like that. So if you think you're doing that, we could talk about that. But you can also go to a speech therapist and they can help you. Um, the Often it's habits we don't realize we have. It's technique. It's technique often. Can be. Okay, we've talked about other things. Okay, now other things that cause gravelly voice. We've talked about the things that I can't do anything for you about. The things that you're going to have to get. Well, if you're over phonating, then I can help you with that. But one quick solution, something to think about all the time, every day, if you're using your voice a lot, is to vary the pitch of your voice. There's two things, and I got this from Stop Killing Your Voice, or I can't remember what it is. I can't remember the exact title, but it was something, Stop Killing Your Voice. He said a lot of times various dysphonias can be caused by speaking on the same monotone and over phonating. But so quick things that you can do, this is not all, but quick things you can do is to speak at a higher pitch than you normally do. To you, it will feel weird at first. When I first started doing it, it felt weird, but I definitely get into a habit of talking down here, and you can hear all the graveliness down here. And I'm in what people refer to as the vocal fry, because of your morning voice, but all day long. And women and even newscasters are notoriously end the end of a sentence. They'll be talking along, and then they'll go back down, and then everything will be in the line like this. And I don't know why everybody thinks, we're gonna talk about this, and then we're gonna end up with our voice sound like this at the end of a sentence. So watch that you don't do that. Keep your voice up. Inflect at the end of a sentence. So, and speaking of inflection, that just is like a swoop up. So, if you will do this little trick, if you'll say, listen to the pitch that you end on. Okay, let me do this for you. So, for me, about A sharp is where I end up, but where I usually speak is way down here. I talk down here. I talk down here, and around there. So that's almost an octave apart. So if I'll spend some time talking up here, and then I'll vary my voice up and down along, in between that range, then I will have I'll put a lot less wear and tear on the same exact spots that my vocal folds are hitting, okay? So simple thing. So vary the pitch of your voice throughout the day. Be expressive. It makes life more interesting anyway, and makes your conversations with others, makes you more interesting to others when you vary your voice. And you have a voice that people will be more captivated by, rather than hearing somebody, who had, the teacher in middle school or high school who always talked like this and never really varied his or her voice, and it was just lulled you to sleep every day. So no, don't do that to everybody around you. Vary your voice and just think how much more enlivening and exciting it is to hear my voice when I'm using it, when I'm expressing with it, varying my pitch, varying the rate in which I speak, etc. But those are, okay, that's getting a little off to the side. So, but did you hear how I also went like that? I went off to the side. So watch those things. Watch how much time you spend in vocal fry area, down here, talking like this, or ending a sentence because you think you're gonna just say something on the side. All right, and vary your voice and speak higher. It'll feel weird at first. You'll get used to it. I promise you, my family didn't even notice much. No, they didn't realize that I was kind of attending to my voice by speaking at a higher pitch. I thought it felt weird. I felt awkward, but nobody really noticed, and it really, really helped my voice. Okay, let me go back to the areas of things that I can't do anything about for you. Um, Thyroid issues. So your thyroid gland sits on the outside of your um, larynx. It kind of wraps around it, and you could be having issues where, and there's even a like blood flow that goes through the thyroid gland. um, so that though there can be complications and there can be things that are happening, could have a growth on your thyroid. So that's the kind of thing you go to the laryngologist or the ENT for, and check that out. So so do that. If you think if you have a graveliness and I'm giving you these tips and nothing is working, you should go see a doctor. You should go see a specialist, and you should find out, because singing is important to you and it's part of your, if not your financial livelihood, it's part of your emotional and spiritual livelihood, right? So you might just need to invest a little bit. Okay, so what is impacting everybody right now in not just the region in which I live, which is one of the worst regions I have ever lived in. I've covered that in different training, but whoa, the allergens here are out of control. I've lived in places where you wake up and you have a coat of, pollen all over your car, but I've never seen it, and I've never seen so many people wiped out by it, thinking that they have a virus, thinking that they have this or that, and they don't. It's really allergy induced other things that happen, particularly congestion, sinus infections, bronchial, induced initially by allergies. I spoke with my brand new allergist here, and she said she has lots of people who come in who think that they are sick with virus and whatnot, and it really, things clear up after they figure out their allergy situation. So you might want to invest in that. Sometimes you can live a certain place all your life and develop allergies there later. We have globally different patterns. Well, I don't know that the patterns are different of weather, El Nino, El Nina, et cetera, et cetera. But I don't know that that's God. I can't do anything about that. But here's what we do know. People emit gases, and all of our plants. When I was in China, the last time I was there, I was in Beijing in 2001, which was at the day that they got the announcement that they got the bid for the 2008 Olympics. So they were celebrating. Let me tell you a couple of things that happened that helped them get that bid. One is they shut down factory production, because Beijing normally is a notoriously polluted city. Hardly anybody walks, or I don't know about now, I haven't been there since 2001. I went in 88 and 2001, but almost everybody in 2001, lots of people wore masks, routine. But when I was there, it was better than it had ever been, because the government had shut down a lot of their most polluting factories, which Beijing is full of, or was, and had shut down a bunch of stuff so that the sky would clear, so that the Olympic Committee would see that people would come there and not gag. The other thing they did, and the other thing they do, and we'll talk about this too in the Middle East, but they put chemicals in their air, in the clouds. They seeded the clouds with chemicals to prevent rain. What, you say? Yes. On the other end of things, I don't know if y'all remember 5 or 6 or 7 years ago, I don't remember exactly when it was, and it was somewhere in the Middle East or Northeast Africa. I'm trying to remember where it was. A very dry place. They seeded the clouds so that it would rain, and then they got flash floods. Oh, this wasn't even that long ago. 2-3 years ago. Can't remember if it was pre or post COVID, but yes, folks, countries are putting chemicals in their clouds. What do clouds do? Do clouds sit in one place permanently? No, they don't. They travel the world, don't they? Or they dissipate and they come down and they go back. It's a cycle. We learned that in elementary school. We learned it again in middle school, talked about it in high school. But somehow adults just go, who cares? The dollar's more important than all of our health. So anyways, that's my little, like, I'm just getting mad about it for just a second. So, but we have environmental factors that have never been part of our world before. They are new. Yes, we had the Industrial Revolution, which brought pollution to crazy extremes. Then everybody was like, oh, we've got to clean that up. But it's never been totally cleaned up. It probably never will be totally cleaned up. That's why environmentalists are like, oh no, warming Earth, and all this kinds of stuff. Like the impact on all of us and our health is, we're not really gonna know I don't know that we'll ever know entirely on this Earth. But it can't be great, and it can't be great. It can't be great because our bodies weren't made for that. So, but here's why I raise that as a possibility that it's worse this year than ever before, because there have been an increasing rate of incidence of different countries seeding their clouds with chemicals for certain reasons. There's lots of places that try to mitigate pollution, and there's other places that don't at all still. So that is all in our environment, and it all travels all around the world. There's no place that is totally pure anymore. I mean, I don't think. And our rainforest is disappearing, and that has been that's not, I don't want to set an extremist position, and this is not a political agenda. I'm just saying, factually, rainforest has been, gradually being, forests and rainforests in general, but the rainforest is one of our biggest air purifiers for the entire world. And all of our forests are air purifiers. Those are the things that purify our air. And just because that's how God made it, and all the stuff that plants and trees and everything does for us. So if you have this year been feeling like this year's worse than ever before, and I'm hearing everybody's got allergies this year, or everybody's sick all the time, okay, it's not just COVID. It's not just COVID. It's all the things. And COVID is now, in a number of different forms, different strains, just like happened to all viruses, and it, kind of becomes different stuff, and you still have the strep virus going around, and who knows what all. Okay, so your best bet is to try to take care of your health and take care of your body. But here's what led me to start speculating on what, because I've always been able to go home to Texas, where I lived till I was 21, and I never had allergy stuff happen to me in Texas, ever. So I guess all the flora and fauna agreed with my system. Never. And every time when I would go home, if I was sick, when I lived in DC, when I lived in Massachusetts, when I lived in Connecticut, when I lived in Ohio, and when I have lived here in Tennessee, I would go home to visit my mom or whatever, and I would go for anything if I was there more than 3 days. Actually, it would happen the first day. The first day, by the end of 24 hours, symptoms would recede and I could breathe, and it was great. And I would, I would always be like, ugh, gotta go back to no more breathing again. But this year, when Mom died, I was down there. Actually, the first time it happened was on her 95th birthday in January. I went down and I was like, yay, I'm gonna get to be, not have to think about breathing. Not true this year. I've been 3 times this spring, and I did not have the same relief. I would have different kinds of allergic reaction symptoms. So I was like, bummer. And then I was like, why? So that's when I started speculating. And all of this is speculation. I have nothing to base this on except for my 56 years of life. All right. And strong interest in research and science and whatever, and a lot of world travel and studying vocal anatomy. Okay. And vocal respiration. Okay. So let's try to get to some solutions for you. You already know that if you have any of those things, that these topical things and these things we're going to talk about, if you have things that I can't help you with, go see a doctor. Okay. Something that you can and should possibly, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but highly recommend is sinus irrigation on a regular basis. If not nasal, then if not daily, then a couple of times a week. Let me show you a couple of tools. This is my husband's neti pot. This is kind of a traditional way of sinus irrigation. It's a little it takes a little getting used to, right? I have made videos on this. When I was first learning how to use a neti pot a long time ago, 15, 18, 20 years ago, I don't remember even when. Maybe even further than that. Y'all, I used to stick my head in a bucket of purified water with iodine solution in it and breathe into my sinus. That was when I was having so many sinus infections. It was just crazy. Again, different training. I've covered that before, so I won't go over it. But this is a neti pot, and you lean over the sink, and this is full of purified water with a saline solution in it. Let me show you my favorite saline solution. These are little packets, and you just take this is I'll show you this in just a second. You just take one of the packets for a normal level of it. If you put it, this would be a normal isotonic solution. If you put 2 of these in, it becomes a hypertonic, but that's like only if you're like really full of snot and crap. Okay, so this and with some not purified water, although y'all, my husband goes straight out of the tap. No, thank you. I use distilled water. This is, and I would put distilled water in here or heat it up in a different source, or you can put it in here for like, not hot, just like 20 seconds to take the cold chill off of it. But again, husband doesn't do any of that. He just dumps water from the sink, the sink, and adds the little packet, stirs it around, and goes for it. And then you stick it in one nostril, you hold your head over the sink, and it goes into your sinuses because everything's all connected up there and comes out the other side, literally. It's literally swishing and irrigating your sinus cavities out, because your sinus cavities have all kinds of pockets and pillows and cracks and crevices and recesses and stuff. Not cracks, but hopefully no cracks. The recesses, stuff like places where stuff gets lodged, and you just want to get it out, and you're just going to swish it out. It also takes all the allergens and pollen and whatever pollution stuff, swishes it right out with it. This does the exact same thing in a different way. You can see it's got the little tube that goes up the middle like a straw, so you have this kind of pump type of effect. You put the stuff in here. I really like this. This is a fairly affordable system when you buy this, and I'll show you the more expensive one in just a minute. But this NeilMed sinus rinse, and you fill it up. You do the same thing. You warm it up, very just trying to take the cold off of it, and do either isotonic or hypertonic. And instead of going like totally like this, you're kind of like this, and you squeeze, and it's drawn up the straw, and you go like half of it one direction and half the other direction. And then I have a whole system that I'm going to attach a video to of like, how do you blow your nose after you've done one of these? And I've got a system that I worked out so that you weren't popping your ears out, and you weren't overblowing, etc. Okay, and I will attach I'll put the link for that. Some of you have already seen that from the other training, but it'll be there for you. Okay, so those are 2 things there. Oh, I feel like Mr. Rogers or something. Okay, here is this, I don't have the Neilmed, but Neilmed is my favorite. Oh, time's up. Okay. Will it actually stop today? It will. Let's give ourselves 5 minutes because I don't want to get told that we're going to be cut off. All right, so this is the quick and easy way to irrigate. On a daily basis or a quick basis, you use it like the instructions say. Spray it up your nose a little bit. You're not doing anything really. Maybe tilt your head back a little bit and then blow it out gently. I use the same technique of blowing into a handkerchief, I mean Kleenex, and that's going to be on the video. But I use this more as an irrigation. So I will do, I'll actually, have this and I'll go up in my nose, but I'm just demonstrating, and I'll go up like that. So I'm really getting quite a bit of it in there. And once I do both sides at the same time, so it'll kind of flush. And then I do my blow system. All right. Again, video will be attached. You might just need some soothing to your vocal cords. It could be just really dried out. That is a very likely possibility. The steam inhaler by Vicks is still available. There's no plugging in. You don't have to use purified water. You don't have to. You can though. I don't, because there's so much that you put in here. I use just use the steam and of just normal water. Use the hottest water you can get. If you need to microwave a little bit, you can. Not in this container. Use like a mug and then pour it in. But you don't want it boiling. You just want it really, really hot enough to give steam. And then you can either just go with the straight steam, nothing in it, and it just might be that you need to moisturize. That's not the word. What is it? Where you get more water in your body? You know what I'm saying? So brain's just not kicking in. So humidification. But that's not what I mean. Anyway, hopefully you know what I mean. This works great for just getting more moisture on your vocal cords. Word is not coming. But it also can be great for sinus congestion if you have that. But right now we're just talking about gravelly voice and hoarseness. So, but the reason I told you about all this other stuff for gravelly voice and hoarseness, same thing as this. The pollens, the pollution, everything else can dry out your vocal cords and your larynx in general, the vocal folds, and it can dry it all out, and you don't want that. You want it to stay hydrated. That's the word, hydration. So this all helps keep everything hydrated. This is my not so trusty. Look at the difference here. I take this traveling. When I need it, I'm going to keep it in my bathroom, and it takes about 1/4 of a cup, and so I use distilled water for this. And you don't stick your face on the mask. It's not like this. You just hold it here. And this also has little pads. It comes with the little Vicks Vapo pads, which are kind of expensive. So what I do is I use the Vapo pads till they're all used up, and then I will put my own essential oil drops on there. Now the Vicks Vapo pads have some type of eucalyptus concoction on them. I mean, they're great for strong congestion if you have bad congestion. But eucalyptus is actually quite drying on the membrane, so I might use some if I'm really congested, but I will use something like Young Living's Respiratory Control, or I found this online. It's a little less expensive than the Mercedes-Benz versions of breathing and respiratory essential oils. These are essential oils. This is Try Me. I'll put links for all these in the little lesson-y thing today. But this is just called Try Me Breathe. My favorite is doTerra Breathe, doTerra essential oil. I will also put a link for that. It's the most expensive, but dang, that stuff is da bomb. It is really, really effective. At least it worked great for me when nothing else could stop my bronchial tickle and I was coughing all the time. That was the thing that helped. I had a friend, she was like, "You gonna go huff your doTerra?" I was like, "Yeah, I guess so." If you want to put it that way. Oh, I wanted to show you. This is my neti pot, which I've had for a really long time. And remember my husband's neti pot, which is also very cute, but mine's prettier, so mine wins. All right. Here's the other thing I wanted to show you, which I only discovered recently from a vocal pedagogue, and I was like, yeah, only drops, the say stuff, and I've been victim to these people who charge, like $60 a bottle or whatever, for various things, or supplements that, you can get five months worth for $3,000, whatever. I'm just, you're gonna die if you don't change your olive oil to this kind, and we've made the only olive oil that's good for you anymore. Okay, that kind of thing. Okay. Anyways, I am not against online marketers because I am one, but like you gotta read and do your own research always. But this stuff actually does work. I'll put the link. It's called Voice 37 by Clior. Mystery? Probably not. I mean, it's always in the ingredients. It has slippery elm bark, which I love. I've talked about that before with Throat Coat Original Tea. So good. Fennel seed, so it's got a little bit of that licoricey thing going on. Fresh horseradish root, try to say that 10 times fast. Thyme herb, goodness, this is tiny. Celery seed and horehound herb. So not everything I would have put together. I've heard of those things, but would have never thought to put them together. Okay. You use it, it lasts about 12 hours of good effectiveness, but it's effective. I'm gonna tell you right now, this is what you do. You take an ounce of it and you just take it. That's all you gotta do. And I can't remember if they recommend, yeah, take with food and water. And I just ate breakfast not too long ago, and I have water right here, so I'm gonna have some. And so this is great. I mean, what I did was, I was like, what? How can drops really help your voice? All I can say is it does. It doesn't last forever, and it's not something that's like gonna change your voice and make you a better singer, but it kind of will. So I'm gonna put my affiliate links, my Amazon affiliate links, which makes me an extra 3 cents and costs you nothing extra. So thank you. If you use my link, thank you. Any of them, thank you. That helps my children eat. Yes, anyways, I'm kidding. You don't have to use my links. It doesn't cost you any extra if you do. I appreciate it if you do. It's like just saying, hey, thanks for showing me this thing, and it helps me, so I appreciate it. I always try to use, when I learn about something new from someone else, I try to use their link several times if I can, because it's not making me rich by any stretch of the imagination. I think my last Amazon check was $3 over 3 months, so whatever. But hey, that's $3. That's half of a Starbucks drink. It's a quarter of what my kids are always asking me for when they want to go out to eat with their friends. All right. Hey, I hope any of this has helped you. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you have something you want me to cover next month for What's in Your Way Week. And don't forget, next week on our 5th Tuesday. No group session, no live group session, but you can get some work done. Anytime you have set aside that you would ordinarily watch this video on replay, then do some work, do some benchmarking or something. All right, journaling, practicing, organizing your notebook, writing down your vision and goals, collecting more vocal exercises, just listing those in your singing notebook, anything like that. And I do have, I'll put this in here too. I got to remember all these things I'm telling you I'm going to give you today in this little lesson. So the 5th week, and then links. I think that was all I told you. So the Lord bless you. Have a great week. So glad you're here. Take care of your voice and keep singing.